Ese es nuestro destino, la victoria.
He was the most prominent leader in Latin America for the past 2 decades. Hugo Chavez, president of Venezuela. A former tank commander who once led a failed coup to oust a president, he went on to win an election and stayed in power for 14 years.
Luna, mi luna gitana, mi lunita caraqueña.
Mr. Chavez used Venezuela's oil wealth to pursue his dream of socialism and challenge the U.S.
Ayer, señoras, señores, desde esta misma tribuna, el señor presidente de los Estados Unidos, a quien yo llamo el diablo, vino aquí hablando como dueño del mundo.
He nationalized much of its economy and demonized its elites, deeply dividing his countrymen. For many of them, he was an authoritarian who fueled class hatred as he pursued what he called his Bolivarian revolution. But for most, he was a messiah, with his popular social welfare programs, a champion of the poor. Mr. Chavez leaves behind an economy that is entirely dependent on high oil prices. High inflation and shortages suggest whoever follows the populist will have their hands full. If oil prices fall, the economy could be in for a shock. Venezuela now faces political uncertainty too. Vice President Nicolás Maduro will succeed Mr. Chavez as interim president, but must hold a new election within 30 days. He is expected to face off against opposition governor Enrique Capriles, who lost to Mr. Chavez in October's presidential election. Mr. Chavez's death is also a blow to populist governments in the region, including Bolivia and Ecuador, which he led in a perennial campaign against what they deemed American hegemony. And it could have major economic and political repercussions for Cuba, which receives billions in virtually free oil from Venezuela.
Aló, presidente, bravo, el aló, presidente.
Hugo Chavez's legacy will shape Venezuela for years and possibly decades to come. His biggest achievement was to put poverty at the center of the political agenda. But critics say his money was largely ill-spent on giveaways that were popular, but did little to improve infrastructure, education, or other key factors for development. He hollowed out most democratic institutions like the courts and central bank, and it will be up to his successor to make peace among the bitterly divided population. For the Wall Street Journal, this is David Luno.